What's up, guys? Mimi, the ALE Prince here to give you my review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This movie, I remembered they switched the director to the Russo brothers. Originally, it was gonna be F. Gary Gray, but he ended up doing Straight Outta Compton, and we all could agree that that was the better for everything. Um, and I like how in the beginning of this movie, it's just Captain America trying to learn what he's missed out on. Like he even writes on a little journal like stuff he needs to catch up on. He shows like Star Wars, the Rocky movies. It's funny because they put Rockies 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6. Yeah, they don't count 5 just because of how awful that movie is. But it was just like a well done showing of who Captain America has become since he left, and he's talking to his friend Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson, Falcon, whatever you want to call him. And in this movie, you learn that basically the reason why no one's called the Avengers is because Captain America has been doing secret missions. He's basically a spy, and that's what this movie is, a spy espionage film, as we call it. And I like that they didn't have to get the Avengers, but like it was good that they used some Avengers. Like I like that they brought in Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow again. And one of my favorite scenes was also like how he's talking to Peggy Carter. She's older now. She's like not the same, and it was just great. They have a big museum for Captain America. It was just great. It just showed like who the Captain America character has become. But since he fights for the right, he finds out later in this movie that maybe not everything he's been doing has been right. Well, not exactly like that. The point I'm trying to get is that Hydra has been working undergrounds in S.H.I.E.L.D. and basically making their own weapons, making their own rules and stuff. And they got the legit like good villain, Robert Redford. Hell yeah. Like that was just like really well done. So like everything is just like done, set up perfectly. There's a little bit of like stupidity going on in this movie. Like example, I didn't like the relationship with Sharon Carter and Steve Rogers. That was just like lame. I do like Sharon Carter a lot though, but I don't know. I know that they hook up in the comics, but I don't know. The chemistry wasn't there for me personally. His relationship with Black Widow, like when he makes out with her in the mall, like you never been this uncomfortable. And yeah, also Nick Fury death and dying and coming back, it just like it's too much. Now, had Nick Fury died and not put him in future movies to come, it would have made sense. Honestly, that would have been great if Nick Fury died in this movie, and let's say Black Widow takes over. It would have been much more like in the Age of Ultron. It would be like much more grounds because like usually Nick Fury is the one who put them together, and like how are they gonna team up, and then it makes sense when they eventually turn into Civil War. So Nick Fury's death could have been something great, but they didn't go all the way with it, and it could have been like a good twist for the movie. So there's that. So those little problems are like basically it. Everything else about this movie just works to the core because it just shows who Captain America knows. Like he now doesn't trust anybody. Well, he does trust some people, of course. Like, but now it's basically a spy movie between Black Widow, Falcon, and Captain America, and basically they're like on their own trying to take stop Hydra. But that's not the biggest twist. One of their soldiers happens to be the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky Barnes. Yes, Steve Rogers' best friend in the whole damn world. Yeah, turns out he is not. Turns out like he doesn't remember anything. He's been brainwashed, as some say. And it worked to the core. It was just this was well done, well put together. I really enjoyed this a lot. Um, you know, and it showed sympathy for the characters here. I was like really glad to see that he kind of remembered him, but not really. And then that big battle at the end with the two was just phenomenal. And him not killing him, he saves his life. And and it was cool at the end credit scenes where Bucky kind of learns a little bit more about himself, of who he was and what he has become, and how much he hates what he's become. So it was great, and it plays off in the Civil War movie. So that was just really well done. I really enjoyed that. There's also this big computer scene where it basically explains all the plans, how Bucky killed. Well, they don't say this in the movie, but they basically kind of tease it that Bucky killed Stark's parents. What else they bring out? They have like a lot of things like in this movie. Also, this whole thing of the scepter being the reason why these weapons are being created. So Hydra, a lot of people don't like Hydra because of like they don't come to play in like the future movies. But if you think about it more, the more sense it makes of how Hydra is secretly like mind fucking people, like in the sense of like, oh shit, this is the reason why they eventually turn into Civil War. So that was just great. And overall, it just showed a different side of Chris Evans' acting ability, of how he's just a changed man and stuff. He went from the Human Torch to Captain America. That is just insane. And also, a little thing that I didn't even bring up, that I like the upgrade that they did with his suit. It looks more like today's era. Like the first two look super corny. So it looked more modern, and I really like that they changed the suit up a lot. Well, not a lot, but like to a sense that you could tell there's a difference with that suit. I just really thought this was brilliantly well put together. And then Crossbones, like that was just another Easter egg for the upcoming movie. That was just brilliant. So there was that. Trying to think of like some other stuff I want to talk about, because overall this movie is more well seen just like rewatching it and rethinking it. What else can I talk about? There's an Easter egg of Doctor Strange. This guy's like, oh, Stephen Strange. Like, I don't know. That came out random. I wasn't really paying attention at that point. Oops. But yeah, that was just a really well done movie. This is just I believe that this is one of the best ones in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But like out of my favorites, this is the weakest. This is definitely a top 5 for me. But it's probably the weakest out of my top 5, which is not saying much because of how awesome the MCU has become. So, what else can I talk about? Like, really, I can't think of like much to talk about except like what you already know. Oh, the elevator scene! Yay, the elevator scene! I totally forgot about this. That's when we know that Chris Evans is the perfect Captain America. That elevator scene was just badass, like a bunch of agents in the elevator with him, and they all attack him. And then he just beats the crap out of everybody, and then at the end he just stomps on his shield and holds it. Also, that scene with when he first sees the Winter Soldier, he throws the shield and the Winter Soldier catches it. That was also pretty badass. So overall, this movie was just fucking amazing. It was just awesome. Really enjoyed it, and it's good that you could find a way to not include the Avengers and still make this movie awesome. And I really gotta give it props for that. It was just a really well put together movie. It's not much to say except go watch it. It's just a really good movie, and it does play with your mind as far as like just thinking of how everything plays out. And it was just really good and one of my favorites in the MCU. Also, that end credit scene of Scarlett Johansson and Quicksilver being teased. Yes, let's go. Makes sense. It's awesome. That's basically all I should say. That's really all I could say about this movie. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yay, I'm excited for that one. Definitely excited to talk about that one. So anyways, that'll be all for this review. It's me, the ALE XX Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'm out.